What up, people? Push the Ball Black here with Push the Ball Black Sports. And I had to do a vlog about, there's a lot of stuff that happened this week since the last NBA joint I did. And we'll get into that today, but today is the first day of free agency, so we gotta talk about that. There's some major news. But first, I'm gonna dip into the earlier stuff. Most notably, first, the Paul Rockets trade. Chris Paul going to the Rockets for some role players. Most notably, though, he went to the Rockets for Patrick Beverley and Lou Williams. Paul going to the Rockets, I don't know if this makes the Rockets better. You lose a top shooter and scorer off the bench in Lou Williams, and in Patrick Beverley, you use a top rotation. You lose your top defender. With Lou Williams, you lose a top rotation scorer, and with Beverley, you lose your best defender. I don't know how Paul and Harden are gonna coexist. I hear people say that Harden works better without the ball in that system. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Harden went nuts this season with assists and points, so I'm really not seeing how they're going to coexist because they both need the ball. I don't think Chris Paul is going to be a corner or a perimeter shooter, but we'll see. Here's the deal, and I said this last show. If you're not gonna beat, everybody's calling it an arms race and to be Golden State. I don't see them beating Golden State with this. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just don't see Harden playing better off the ball in this system. He's played point guard before when he was in OKC. Russ played off the ball. He handled the ball and it kind of kept Russell Westbrook in control a little bit, and he made sure everybody was happy in this system. And actually, when he first got to Houston, Harden ultimately, Jeremy Lin was playing alongside of him. Then he put up crazy numbers and most improved player numbers his first season in Houston off the ball. But ultimately, he ended up being the primary ball handler his first season there. And then in D'Antoni's system, it was just crazy numbers, almost MVP type numbers. But then Russell Westbrook, when you average triple-double, there's no way to lose that award. Happy for Russ, by the way. So I don't know how this makes Houston. It makes them. I want to say it doesn't make them better. It makes them different. You lose your best defender. You lose a pretty good rotation scorer in Williams, and you get Paul, where he's not really. He can score, but he's not really a scorer like that to, help with Harden. You know what I'm saying? He can help Harden as a leader, and as he can make Harden as a better defender because they don't play defense at all. And Chris Paul is a dominant personality, so he can help him defensively as far as assignments and stuff. But Beverley is a better on the ball defender and is an irritant. So for the Clippers, they just signed Blake Griffin to a $153 million deal. I think that's a 5-year deal. I don't know how that makes them better, especially and the Paul thing, they were good. Paul was going away. They're basically the team is basically now DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, and Austin Rivers. They're giving the team to Austin Rivers. That's what this move signifies. If you read the Bleacher Report article, Doc Rivers basically basically gave that team to Austin. He's made sure, like, he's forced. And if you've listened to my old stuff, I don't think Austin Rivers is good at all as a player. I think the only reason he's in the league is Fox Sports One did a wonderful job, restating this. The only reason Austin Rivers is in the league is because of Doc. Austin Rivers, he's a combo guard. He's 6'4". He really doesn't play point guard very well. He's not a good shooter. He's not a good scorer. He's a decent defender. He really shouldn't be in the league, but when your dad is the coach and now GM of the Clippers, you will have a job. So, they're basically giving the team to Blake Griffin and Austin Rivers. Okay, good luck with that. And with Phil Jackson being fired by the Knicks, the Carmelo Anthony thing is not happening because I don't think they're gonna buy Carmelo out. Matter of fact, the reason that Phil got fired is because James Dolan didn't want to buy Carmelo out and start fresh. So is Carmelo gonna stay in New York now? I think he is, because I don't think he wanted to leave. I don't think they're willing to trade Porzingis now because Phil isn't there anymore. So the Clippers thing with Carmelo Anthony, that's going away. That's going away now. So so I don't know what they're doing. And the Paul George thing is going away now. It's going away now because he got traded to OKC for Domantas Sabonis and Victor Oladipo. I don't know what Danny Ainge is doing. So either two things are going on. Either Danny Ainge is a fool for not striking on this deal, or a lot of the deals weren't really there as being reported. It was almost kind of like with the Jimmy Butler deal going to Boston. You find out later that the proposed deals that Chicago were trying to give to Boston, they weren't really there. So either Danny Ainge is trying to win this perfect trade scenario, or he doesn't know what he's doing. Like Gordon Hayward is not gonna beat Cleveland. Like the goal is to beat Cleveland. The goal is not to get to the Eastern Conference Finals and lose in 6 games or lose in 5 games. The goal is to make an honest attempt in beating Cleveland. With Paul George, you have a legitimate chance to beat Cleveland. With Gordon Hayward, I don't think you have that shot. So Paul George going to OKC for Victor Oladipo and Sabonis, that tells me that one, Indiana just wanted to get him out of. They just wanted to get him out of there because, I mean, I like Victor Oladipo and Sabonis a lot. Like I really do. I love that trade when it happened a couple summers ago. But I figured like they'd at least get a draft pick or something, or a younger player. But Indiana getting Oladipo, him graduating from, or not graduating, but him going to school in Indiana University, that was a good thing for them. You can sell tickets. Oladipo can score. I don't know how. I think Monte Ellis is still there. So Indiana's is going to drop off a little bit. With OKC, though, I don't know if this is going to... See, everybody's going for second or third in the conference now because I don't... Again, everybody's saying this is an arms race, but I don't see anyone beating Golden State Warriors. OKC got better, But does this move, because you're hoping that he falls in love with Oklahoma City, Paul George does. You're hoping that he falls in love with OKC and stays there. I don't know if that's going to happen. Now, it depends on what they do in the playoffs. Like if they end up getting in the top 3 or one of the top 4 seeds in the playoffs and getting a good showing with the with getting a good showing against the Golden State Warriors. But he wants to go to Los Angeles. He wants to go to the Lakers. Good job for Magic Johnson not to give up assets for Paul George and wait for free agency. That was smart. OKC, the assets that they gave, even though I like them, I don't think that they thought. I mean, it's an upgrade. Those 2 players for Paul George is an upgrade for OKC, so they didn't lose a lot. I don't know what Danny Ainge is trying to do. Like, what are you trying to do? Like, if either they didn't want the draft picks, or you're waiting for this perfect trade to happen, and you're not gonna get it. I don't feel. So you're gonna have a bunch of small forwards around, and maybe one of them is going to emerge, or somebody's going to emerge to like Isaiah Thomas did. Like, and that's what I think Boston is doing. Like, I think they're just getting assets and they're just hoping the guys emerge into something. So, because Paul George should be a Celtic. Like, really. I mean, the Cleveland thing it's doable because of the contract situations, but Paul George should be a Celtic. Porzingis should be a Celtic. Period. Like, this should happen. This should have happened. But it didn't. I guess they're going to go in. I guess they're going to go in with Gordon Hayward, hopefully, and see what happens. But OKC is going to get markedly better. I think they're going to be top. I still think it's going to be Golden State and San Antonio, because San Antonio's always there. So it's going to be Golden State and San Antonio somewhere. And San Antonio, if healthy, will do fine. And it's Golden State, San Antonio, this might not be the order of the seeds, but it'll be Golden State, San Antonio, Houston, OKC. That's going to be the top 4. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to beat the Warriors, because I don't think Russell Westbrook and Paul George by themselves are going to beat the Warriors. I don't think that they have the firepower to do that. They'll see in the second round of the playoffs how true that is. I don't think Houston is going to, with adding Paul, I don't think Houston is going to be strong enough to beat the Warriors. As a matter of fact, you lose shooting with this trade, so I don't understand that. As far as little deals and some contract stuff, Curry got the Supermax. That was supposed to happen. Wall got not necessarily the Supermax, but he got a max deal. Teague to the Timberwolves. That's a good move because the Timberwolves traded Rubio to the draft for the 2018 first-round pick. That's a good move for them. Teague's a good defender. Teague can run your stuff. They're getting some good veterans to go mix with them young guys in Jimmy Butler and Teague. I was a year behind. I love the Timberwolves since Thibs got there. I was a year behind with them being a breakout team. They should be in the playoffs this year. I don't know if they're going to be in the top 4 with all the other moves, but they should be in the playoffs this year. And oh, by the way, with the coach that the Timberwolves have, I think they're going to be 5th, but I think if they're like the 5th best team in the West, they're going to aggravate either Houston or they're going to aggravate OKC. So the Wolves are doing it right because the Wolves are because of their defensive mindset, and Thibs getting defenders and veterans, they might make noise in the playoffs, and they're not doing, like, they didn't do stupid stuff, or they didn't do stuff that makes sense. That didn't make sense. That team is on the rise. So it doesn't matter, like, and they're not really losing a lot. So it really doesn't matter. OKC did the same thing. It really doesn't matter what they lost, because Victor Oladipo he didn't blossom with Russell Westbrook anyway, and Sabonis, they didn't use him a lot. I like him. He's a promising young big man, but he was in rotation, but he was barely in rotation, so they didn't lose a lot. It was an upgrade. This is more an indictment on the other teams that were trying to get him than anything else. OKC did a good thing. The head scratcher is Houston. Like, I don't understand how that just makes them better. So, take to the Timberwolves. Timberwolves are my pick so far, as they were last year, to be the breakout team now. Probably a top 5 team. Rubio to the Jazz. Okay. And a couple of things for the Bulls. Chris Felicio signs a $32 million deal with the Bulls. That's a 4-year deal. That's really not a lot of money. And right now, the Bulls got to hit the floor, the salary cap floor, $99 million. They're at 68 now. I don't think that's a matter of fact, it's not a bad deal. He's an energy guy. He's still learning. He's shown some promise. I like him. Locally in Chicago, it's kind of like a mixed bag among guys and among sports radio people. I like the dude. The thing, they released Rajon Rondo. I don't really know where he's gonna go. There was talk when this originally happened that he was gonna go to Minnesota. He still might go to Minnesota, but with Teague, I'm not sure. But with Tibbs, him and Rondo got along, and Rondo, Tibbs likes his style, and Rondo can be a good defender when he wants to be. So Tibbs may actually get him coming off the bench, or I'm not exactly sure where they have him going now that Teague is there. But what's next for Wade? Because if you traded Jimmy Butler, you bought out Rondo, are you gonna keep Wade for the whole season? Are you gonna buy him out too? And is Wade gonna be willing to get bought out? If I'm Dwayne Wade, I'm getting all my $24 million. Period. Like, there's no reason for. I mean, you got 3 rings. Some people say you're the 3rd best 2 guard in NBA history because of the rings. There's nothing for you to really chase another one for, unless you just want to. So I get my $24 million, play my 60 games for the season, and keep it moving, and do what you do afterwards. But if I'm the Bulls and I really want to commit to this young rebuilding thing, which I actually like, I don't know about a lot of other people, I really, really, as a Bulls fan, and they're going to be really bad probably next year, but I don't know what that means because everybody's going west, and really the biggest move is going to be, honestly, Gordon Hayward maybe going to the Celtics. Okay. Don't know if that's going to do anything for, like, swaying the conference or anything. So I don't know in the bottom half of the East if Zach LaVine shows any type of leadership skills and they just give the ball and he comes off and has an amazing year. I don't know, the Bulls may do something. Am I saying playoffs? No. What I'm saying, like, they may be better record-wise than most people think, because the East is going to be really, really bad now. So, that's it, y'all. That's, for now, that's my thoughts on what happened last week and the first day of free agency. These deals can't be officially inked until the 6th. So if anything major happens, which I don't see any major things happening, but I don't know because nobody knew the Paul George thing was going to happen to OKC. Everybody was waiting for Boston or Cleveland or the Clippers. I honestly didn't believe it. Like when I checked Twitter yesterday, when SportsCenter was saying that was happening, and Ramona Shelburne reported it, the first person I checked was the first Twitter I checked was The Vertical. I checked The Vertical, and I was like, okay, what does Woj say about it? And Woj didn't have anything on there, and I was like, okay. Everybody was like, wow, and I was like, okay, what does Woj say? And then I checked it this morning, and then Woj was like, I'm going to be on SportsCenter to go into the nuts and bolts of the trade. And I was like, okay, I believe it's happening now. And then other bigger news outlets were saying that this was happening. So I was like, okay, this is legit. And I'm not saying that Ramona Shelburne isn't a good NBA reporter, but I was just like, I got to get other sources because sometimes one source, doesn't necessarily mean, because she was the main source for like, I want to say like 12 hours or, 10 hours or so. And then when everybody else was kind of jumping on it and then David Aldridge jumped on it too. And I was like, okay, this might be real. So I don't know, man. I just don't see none of this stuff. I don't see none of these moves changing the West, like outside of the top, outside of 3 through 8. Like it's still gonna be Golden State and San Antonio to me. Like it's not gonna. I don't think OKC and Houston are gonna be strong enough to beat those two teams. It may happen to where just because of seeding, one of those two teams may make it to the conference finals just because of seeding. But the two best teams in the West are San Antonio and Golden State, period. So, I don't know. Let's see how this goes. Let's see what else happens in the next couple of days, till the 6th and everything. And then we'll go from there. So I have more time to do more of these, so there might be another one if something major happens within the next few days, because I am no longer have my 9 to 5, so I'll be doing more of these. No problem, no issues or anything. It's just I'm moving, so I just wanted to end my job a little early and concentrate on the move. So, but I'll still be doing these up until maybe like the second week of July. And then we'll concentrate on the move, and I'll let y'all know more about that. But yeah, in the next couple of days, depending on anything that's happening, there will be more of these. And I'm still going to do a Big 3 Week 2 vlog Monday, or Monday evening after the show. So anyway, Push the Wild Black out. Later.